That's going to take a minute to load up, and when it does, we will get started.
Right, and we are ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Instant Shakespeare's Company reading of Love's Labour's Lost. I am Jon L Peacock, filling in for Paul Sugarman, who is currently in a meeting, but we all thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves and what role they're playing. First, I'm going to be playing the King of Navarre, Ferdinand. And we could just call out, and if I miss people, I will ask them to say. So whoever would like to go first.
I'm Tom. Go ahead.
I'm Carl.
Doing Don Armado and maybe
Kenneth, I think there's something wrong with your audio. You're very echoey and then wavy, and then you're chopping in and out.
That was what happened last week. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do about that.
A quick thing you can do is close all the apps on your computer. That usually speeds up your internet a bit and helps your Zoom call.
And no one else restart it after you've done that.
Okay.
Great. So let's go on with the rest.
I'm Tony Scheinman, and I'm playing the part of Berowne.
I am Carl Fortunato. I am playing Costard.
Elena Rader, I'm playing Princess of France.
Anna Cody, I'm playing Rosaline.
Maria-Eleanor Elizabeth Forman, I'm playing Maria, and Moth, Armado's page.
I'm David Seatter, I'm playing Sir Nathaniel, the curate.
Angus Hepburn playing the pedant. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name.
I'm Kristina Osterling, I'm playing Jaquenetta.
Steve Capra playing Dumane and Dull.
I'm Mike DeBlis, I'm playing Longaville and Forrester.
Great. And if we happen to have a couple lags from small parts missing, please feel free to jump right in.
Isn't Michael Gardner supposed to be involved here? Or is he not?
Yeah, he is. What does he play?
He is
Boyette.
play Boyette. That is correct. So if he does not show up on time for that role, could someone please step in? Actually, Carl, could you do that?
Sure.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to take just a second to go over to my other computer to start. I know I have the first line, but and David, would you be able to do the entrances, not the entrances, but just the scene setups?
Oh, you mean me? Sorry.
Yes. David Seatter. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Wonderful. Okay.
The entrances, announcing them is also helpful.
We'll be bringing people on screen and off screen, so the entrances and exits should be pretty self-explanatory through that. But the scene, sometimes...
But it gives people cues. It gives me time to handle my audio and my video and get my script back.
Wonderful. Okay, let's get started.
Actus Primus, and of Ferdinand, King of Navarre, Berowne, Longaville, and Dumane. No, I'm wrong. We're not ready yet. Hello? What's happened?
Let fame and all hunt after in their lives, live registered upon our brazen tombs, and then grace us in the disgrace of death, when spite of Cormorant, devouring time, the endurer of this present breath may by that honor which shall bait his scythe's keen edge and make us heirs of all eternity. Therefore, brave conquerors, for so you are, that war against your own affections and the huge army of the world's desires, our late edicts shall strongly stand in force. Navarre shall be the wonder of the world. Our court shall be a little academy, still and contemplative in living art. And you three, Berowne, Dumane, and Longaville, have sworn for 3 years' term to live with me, my fellow scholars, and to keep those statutes that are records in this schedule here. Your oaths are passed, and now subscribe your names, that his own hand may strike his honor down that violates the smallest branch therein. If you are armed to do as sworn to do, subscribe to your deep oaths and keep it too.
I am resolved. 'Tis but a 3 years' fast. The mind shall banquet, though the body pine. Fat paunches have lean pates, and dainty bits make rich the ribs, but bankrupt quite the wits.
My loving lord Dumane is mortified. The grosser manner of these world's delights he throws upon the gross world's slaves. To love, to wealth, to pomp I pine and die with all these living in philosophy.
I can but say their protestation over. So much, dear liege, I have already sworn, that is, to live and study here 3 years. But there are other strict observances, as not to see a woman in that term, which I hope well is not enrolled there, and 1 day in a week to touch no food, and but 1 meal on every day beside, the which I hope is not enrolled there. And then to sleep but 3 hours in the night, and not be seen to wink of all the day, when I was wont to think no harm all night, and make a dark night too of half the day, which I hope well is not enrolled there. Oh, these are barren tasks, too hard to keep, not to see ladies, study, fast, not sleep.
Oh, your oath is passed to pass away from these.
Let me say no, my liege, and if you please, I only swore to study with your grace and stay here in your court for 3 years' space.
You swore to that, Byron, and to the rest.
By yea and nay, sir, then I swore in jest. What is the end of study? Let me know.
Why, that's a no which else we should not know.
Things hid and barred, you mean, from common sense?
Aye, that is study's godlike recompense.
Come on, then. I will swear to study so, to know the thing I am forbid to know, as thus, to study where I well may dine, when I to fast expressly am forbid, or study where to meet some mistress fine, when mistresses from common sense are hid, or having sworn too hard a keeping oath, study to break it, and not break my troth. If study's gain be thus, and this be so, study knows that which yet it doth not know. Swear me to this, and I will ne'er say no.
These be the stops that hinder study quite, and train our intellects to vain delight.
Why? All delights are vain, and that most vain which with pain purchased doth inherit pain, as painfully to pore upon a book to seek the light of truth, while truth the while doth falsely blind the eyesight of his look. Light seeking light doth light of light beguile. So ere you find where light in darkness lies, your light grows dark by losing of your eyes. Study me how to please the eye indeed, by fixing it upon a fairer eye, who, dazzling so, that eye shall be his heed, and give him light that it was blinded by. Study is like the heaven's glorious sun, that will not be deep searched with saucy looks. Small have continual plotters ever won, save base authority from others' books. These earthly godfathers of heaven's lights, that give a name to every fixed star, have no more profit of their shining nights than those that walk and wot not where they are. Too much to know, is to know naught but fame, and every godfather can give a name.
How well he's read to reason against reading.
Proceeded well to stop all good proceeding.
He weeds the corn and still lets grow the weeding.
The spring is near when green geese are a-breeding.
How follows that?
Fit in his place and time.
Reason nothing.
Something then in rhyme.
Berowne is like an envious sneaping frost that bites the firstborn infants of the spring.
Well, say I am. Why should proud summer boast before the birds have any cause to sing? Why should I joy in any abortive birth? At Christmas I no more desire a rose than wish a snow in May's newfangled shows. But like of each thing that in season grows, so you to study now it is too late, that were to climb o'er the house to unlock the gate.
Ah, well, sir, go you out. Go home, Berowne. Adieu.
No, my good lord, I have sworn to stay with you. And though I have for barbarism spoke more than for that angel knowledge you can say, yet confident I'll keep what I have sworn, and bide the penance of each 3 years' day. Give me the paper, let me read the same, and to the strictest decrees I'll write my name.
How well this yielding rescues thee from shame.
Item, that no woman shall come within a mile of my court. Hath this been proclaimed?
4 days ago.
Let's see the penalty. On pain of losing her tongue, who devised this penalty?
Marry, that did I.
Sweet lord, and why?
To fright them, hence with that dread penalty.
Item, if any man be seen to talk with a woman within the tenure of 3 years, he shall endure such public shame as the rest of the court shall possibly devise. This article, my liege, yourself must break, for well you know here comes in embassy the French king's daughter with yourself to speak, a maid of grace and complete majesty, about surrender up of Aquitaine to her decrepit, sick and bedrid father. Therefore this article is made in vain, or vainly comes the admired princess hither.
What say you, lords? Why, this was quite forgot.
So study evermore is overshot, while it doth study to have what it would. It doth forget to do the thing it should. And when it hath the thing it hunteth most, 'tis one as towns with fire, so won, so lost.
We must force dispense with this decree. She must lie here in mere necessity.
Necessity will make us all forsworn 3,000 times within these 3 years' space. For every man with his effects is born, not by might mastered, but by special grace. If I break faith, this word shall break for me. I am forsworn on mere necessity. So to the laws at large, I write my name. And he that breaks them in the least degree stands an attainer of eternal shame. Suggestions are to others as to me, but I believe although I seem so loath, I am the last that will keep his oath. But is there no quick recreation granted?
Aye, that there is. Our court, you know, is haunted with a refined traveler of Spain, a man in all the world's new fashion planted, that hath a mint of phrases in his brain. One who the music of his own vain tongue doth ravage like enchanting harmony, a man of compliments whom right and wrong have chose to umpire with their mutiny. This child of fancy that Armado hight for interim to our studies shall relate in high-born words the worth of many a night from tawny Spain lost in the world's debate. How you delight, my lords, I know not I, but I protest I love to hear him lie, and I will use him for my minstrelsy.
Armado is a most illustrious wight, a man of fire, no words, fashion's own knight.
Custard the swain, and he shall be our sport, and so to study. 3 years is but short.
What Constable?
Which is... Who's the constable? Which
Which
is
is the Duke's own person?
This fellow, what wouldst?
I myself reprehend his own person, for I am his grace's Tharborough, but I would see his own person in flesh and blood.
This is he.
Signor, arm commands you. There's villainy abroad. This letter will tell you more. Sir, the contempts thereof are as touching me.
A letter from the magnificent Armado.
How low soever the matter, I hope in God for high words.
A high hope for a low heaven. God grant us patience.
To hear or forbear hearing.
To hear meekly, sir, and to laugh moderately, or to forbear both.
Well, sir, be it as the style shall give us cause to climb in the merriness.
The matter is to me, sir, as concerning Jaquenetta. The matter of it is, I was taken with the manner.
In what manner?
In manner and form, following, sir, all those three. I was seen with her in the manor house, sitting with her upon the form, and taken following her into the park, which put together is in manner and form following. Now, sir, for the manner. It is the manner of a man to speak to a woman, for the form in some form.
For the following, sir.
As it shall follow in my correction, and God defend the right.
Will you hear this letter with attention?
As we would hear an oracle.
Such is the simplicity of a man to hearken after the flesh.
Great deputy, the Welkins vicegerent and sole dominator of Navarre, my soul's earth god and body's four-string patron.
Not a word of costard yet.
Yeah, so it is.
It may be so, but if he say it is so, he is in telling truth, but so.
Peace.
Be to me and every man that dares not fight.
No words.
Of other men's secrets I beseech you, so it is besieged.
So
of other men's secrets I beseech you.
Is besieged with sable-colored melancholy. I did commend the black oppressing humor to the most wholesome physic of thy health-giving air. And as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk. The time when? About the 6th hour, when beasts, most grass, birds, best peck, and men do sit down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for that time when. Now for the grounds, which I mean to walk upon. It is clipped thy park, then for the place. Where I mean did encounter that obscene and most preposterous events that draweth from my snow white pen the ebon color ink, which here thou viewest, beholdest, surveyest, and seest. But why this place where? It standeth northeast, and east by from west corner of thy curious knotted garden. There did I see that low-spirited swain, that base minnow of thy mirth.
Me?
That unlettered, small knowing soul.
Me?
That shallow vassal.
Still me?
Which, as I remember, highest costard.
Oh, me.
Sorted and consorted, contrary to thy established, proclaimed edict and continence canon, which but with this I passion to saith wherein.
With a wench.
With a child of our godmother Eden, a female, or for thy more sweet understanding, a woman. Him I, as I may ever esteem the duties pricks me on, have sent to thee to receive the meed of punishment by the sweet graces officer Anthony Dull, a man of good repute, carriage, bearing, and estimation. Anthony?
Me? And it shall please you. I am Anthony Dull.
For Jaquenetta, so is the weaker vessel called, which I apprehended with this aforesaid swain. I keep her as a vessel of thy law's fury, and shall at the least of thy sweet notice bring her to trial. Thine in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriana de Armado.
This is not so well as I looked for, but the best that ever I heard.
Aye, the best for the worst. But, Sirrah, what say you to this?
Sir, I confess the wench.
Did you hear the proclamation?
I do confess much of the hearing it, but little of the marking of it.
It was proclaimed a year's imprisonment to be taken with a wench.
I was taken with none, sir. I was taken with a damsel.
Well, it was proclaimed, damosel.
This was no damsel, neither, sir. She was a virgin.
It is so varied too, for it was proclaimed virgin.
If it were, I deny her virginity. I was taken with a maid.
This maid will not serve your turn, sir.
This maid will serve my turn, sir.
Whoa!
I will pronounce your sentence. You shall fast a week and with brain and water.
I'd rather pray a month with mutton and porridge.
And Don Armado shall be your keeper. My lord Berowne, see him delivered o'er, and go, we lords, to put in practice that which each we other hath so strongly sworn.
I'll lay my head to any good man's hat. These oaths and laws will prove an idle scorn. Sarah, come on.
I suffer for the truth, sir. For true it is, I was taken with Jaquenetta, and Jaquenetta is a true girl, and therefore welcome the sour cup of prosperity. Affliction may one day smile again, and until then, sit down sorrow.
Act 1, Scene 2, enter Armado and Moth, his page.
Boy, what sign is it when a man of great spirits grows melancholy?
A great sign, sir, that he will look sad.
Why, sadness is one and the self-same thing, dear imp.
No, no, oh Lord, sir, no.
How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender juvenile?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough senior.
Why, tough senior? Why, tough senior?
Why, tender juvenile? Why, tender juvenile?
I spoke it, tender juvenile, as a congruent apatheton appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender.
And I, tough senior, as a pertinent title to your old time, which we may name tough.
Pretty and apt.
How mean you, sir? I pretty, and my saying apt? Or I apt, and my saying pretty?
Thou pretty because little.
Little pretty because little, wherefore apt?
And therefore apt because quick.
Speak you this in my praise, master?
In thy condign praise.
I will praise an eel with the same praise.
What, that an eel is ingenuous?
That an eel is quick.
I do say thou art quick in answers. Thou heat'st my blood.
I am answered, sir.
I love not to be crossed.
He speaks the mere contrary. Crosses love not him.
I have promised to study 3 years with the Duke.
You may do it in an hour, sir.
Impossible.
How many is one thrice told?
I am ill at reckoning. It fits the spirit of a tapster.
You are a gentleman and a gamester, sir.
I confess both. They are both the varnish of a complete man.
Then I'm sure you know how much the gross sum of deuce ace amounts to.
It doth amount to 1 more than 2.
Which the base vulgar call 3.
True. Why, sir, is this such a piece of study?
Now here's 3 studied, ere you'll thrice wink, and how easy it is to put years to the word 3, and study 3 years in 2 words, the dancing horse will tell you.
A most fine figure.
To prove you a cipher.
I will hereupon confess I am in love. And as it is base for a soldier to love, so am I in love with a base wench. If drawing my sword against the humor of affection would deliver me from the reprobate thought of it, I would take Desire prisoner, and ransom him to any French courtier for a new devised courtesy. I think scorn to sigh, methinks I should outswear Cupid. Comfort me, boy. What great men have been in love?
Hercules, master.
Most sweet Hercules. More authority, dear boy, name more, and sweet my child, let them be men of good repute and carriage.
Samson, master. He was a man of good carriage, great carriage, for he carried the town gates on his back like a porter, and he was in love.
Oh, well-knit Samson, strong-jointed Samson. I do excel thee in my rapier as much as thou didst me in carrying gates. I am in love too. Who was Samson's love, my dear Moat?
A woman, master.
Of what complexion?
Of all the four, or the three, or the two, or one of the four.
Tell me precisely of what complexion.
Of the sea-water green, sir.
Is that one of the four complexions?
As I have read, sir, and the best of them too.
Green indeed is the color of lovers, but to have a love of that color, methinks Samson had small reason for it. He surely affected her for her wit.
It was so, sir, for she had a green wit.
My love is most immaculate white and red.
Most immaculate thoughts, master, are masked under such colors.
Define, well-educated infant.
My father's wit and my mother's tongue assist me.
Sweet invocation of a child, most pretty and pathetical.
If she be made of white and red, her faults will ne'er be known. For blushing cheeks by faults are bred, and fears by pale white shown. Then if she fear, or be to blame, by this you shall not know. For still her cheeks possess the same, which native she doth owe. A dangerous rhyme, master, against the reason of white and red.
Is there not a ballad, boy, of the king and the beggar?
The world was very guilty of such a ballad some 3 ages since, but I think now 'tis not to be found, or if it were, it would neither serve for the writing nor the tune.
I will have that subject newly writ o'er, that I may example my discretion by some mighty precedent. Boy, I do love that country girl that I took in the park with a rational hind Costard. She deserves well
to be whipped, and yet a better love than my master.
Sing, boy, my spirit grows heavy in love.
And that's a great marvel, loving a light wench.
I say sing.
Forbear till this company be past.
Can somebody else take the constable? No? Okay.
I will. Sir, the Duke's pleasure is that you keep Costard safe, and you must let him take no delight nor no penance, but he must fast 3 days a week. For this damsel, I must keep her at the park. She is allowed for the day woman. Fare you well.
I do betray myself with blushing. Maid.
Anne.
I will visit thee at the lodge.
That's hereby.
I know where it is situate.
Oh Lord, how wise you are.
I will tell thee wonders.
With what face?
I love thee.
So I heard you say.
And so farewell.
Fair weather after you.
Villain, thou shalt fast for thy offences ere thou be pardoned.
Well, sir, I hope when I do it, I shall do it on a full stomach.
Thou shalt be heavily punished.
I am more bound to you than your fellows, for they are but lightly rewarded.
Take away this villain, shut him up.
Come, Come, you transgressing slave, away.
Let me not be pent up, sir. I will fast being loose.
No, sir, that were fast and loose. Thou shalt to prison.
Well, if I do see the merry days of desolation that I have seen, some shall see.
What shall some see?
Nay, nothing, Master Moth, but what they look upon. It is not for prisoners to be silent in their words, and therefore I will say nothing. I thank God I have as little patience as another man, therefore I can be quiet.
I do affect the very ground which is base, where her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest, doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is a great argument of falsehood, if I love. And how can that be true love which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar, love is a devil. There is no evil angel but love. Yet Samson was so tempted, and he had an excellent strength. Yet was Solomon so seduced, and he had a very good wit. Cupid's butt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much odds for a Spaniard's rapier. The first and second cause will not serve my turn. The passado he respects not, the duello he regards not. His disgrace is to be called boy, but his glory is to subdue men. Adieu, valor, rust, rapier. Be still, drum, for your manager is in love. Yea, he loveth. Assist me, some extemporal god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn sonnet, devise wit, write pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
Actus Secunda, enter the Princess of France with 3 attending ladies and 3 lords.
Now, madame, can you hear me?
Can
you hear me? Yes? Okay. Now, madame, summon up your dearest spirits. Consider who the king, your father, sends, to whom he sends, and what's his embassy, yourself, held precious in the world's esteem, to parley with the sole inheritor of all perfections that a man may owe, matchless Navarre, the plea of no less weight than Aquitaine, a dowry for a queen. Be now as prodigal of all dear grace as nature was in making graces dear, when she did starve the general world beside, and prodigally gave them all to you.
Good Lord Boyet, my beauty, though but mean, needs not the painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of chapmen's tongues. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than you me much willing to be counted wise in spending your wit in the praise of mine. But now to the task. Good Boyet, you are not ignorant. All telling fame doth noise, abroad Navarre hath made a vow. Till painful study shall outwear 3 years, no woman may approach his silent court. Therefore, seemeth it a needful course, before we enter his forbidden gates, to know his pleasure, and in that behalf, bold of your worthiness, we single you. As our best moving fair solicitor, tell him the daughter of the King of France on serious business, craving quick dispatch, importunes personal conference with his grace. Haste, signify so much while we attend, like humble-visaged suitors his high will.
Proud of employment, willingly I go.
All pride is willing pride, and yours is so. Who are the votaries, my loving lords, that are vow fellows with this virtuous duke?
Longaville is one.
Know you the man?
I know him, madam, at a marriage feast between Lord Perigord and the beauteous heir of Jacques Falconbridge solemnized. In Normandy saw I this Longaville, a man of sovereign parts he is esteemed, well fitted in arts, glorious in arms. Nothing becomes him ill that he would well. The only soil of his fair virtue's gloss, if virtue's gloss will stain with any soil, is a sharp wit matched with too blunt a will, whose edge hath power to cut whose will still wills. It should none spare that come within his power.
The merry mocking lord belike is so?
They say so most, that most his humours know.
Such short-lived wits do wither as they grow. Who are the rest?
The young Dumane, a well-accomplished youth, of all that virtue loved, for virtue loved, most power to do most harm, least knowing ill, for he hath wit to make an ill shape good, and shape to win grace, though she had no wit. I saw him at the Duke Alonso's once, and much too little of that good I saw is my report to his great worthiness.
Another of these students at that time was there with him, as I have heard a truth. Berowne, they call him. But a merrier man within the limit of becoming mirth, I never spent an hour's talk withal. His eye begets occasion for his wit. For every object that the one doth catch, the other turns to a mirth-moving jest, which his fair tongue, conceit's expositor, delivers in such apt and gracious words, that aged ears play truant at his tales, and younger hearings are quite ravished. So sweet and voluble is his discourse.
God bless my ladies, are they all in love? That every one her own hath garnished with such bedecking ornaments of praise.
Here comes Boyer.
What admittance, lord?
Navarre had noticed of your fair approach, and his competitors in oath were all addressed to meet you, gentle lady, before I came. Marry, this much I have learned. He rather means to lodge you in the field like one that comes here to besiege his court, than seeks a disposition for his oath to let you enter his unpeopled house. Here comes Navarre.
Fair princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
Fair, I give you back again, and welcome I have not yet. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide field too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
I will be welcome then, conduct me thither.
Hear me, dear lady, I have sworn an oath.
Our Lady help my lord, he'll be forsworn.
Not for the world, fair maiden, by my will.
Why, she will break it will, nothing else.
Your ladyship is ignorant what it is.
Were my lord so, his ignorance were wise. Where now his knowledge must prove ignorance. I hear your grace hath sworn out house, keeping. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. Pardon me, I am too sudden bold. To teach a teacher ill beseemeth me. Vouchsafe to read the purpose of my coming, and suddenly resolve me in my suit.
Madam, I will, if suddenly I may.
You will the sooner that I were away, for you'll prove perjured if you make me stay.
Did I not dance with you in Brabant once?
Did not I dance with you in Brabant once?
I know you did.
How needless was it then to ask the question?
You must not be so quick.
'Tis long of you to spur me with such questions.
Oh, your wit's too hot. It speeds too fast. 'Twill tire.
Not till it leave the rider in the mire.
What time of day?
The hour that fools should ask.
Now fair befall your mask,
Fair fall the face it covers.
and send you many lovers.
Amen. So you be none.
Nay then, will I be gone?
Madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the 1/2 of the entire sum dispersed by my father in his wars. But say that he or we, as neither have received that sum, yet there remains unpaid 100,000 more, in surety of the which 1 part of an Attiquane is bound to us, although not valued to the money's worth. Then the king, your father, will restore but that 1/2 which is unsatisfied. We will give up our right to Attiquane and hold fair friendship with his majesty, but that it seems... One moment, please. that it seems
We will wait.
but that he seems he have little purposeth, for he doth demand that to have repay 100,000 crowns, and not demands one payment of 100,000 crowns, to have this title live in Antiquain, which we must rather had depart withal, and have the money for our father lent than Antiquain, so guilted as it is. Dear princess, were not his request so far from reason, yielding your fair self should make a yield and some reason in my breast, and go well satisfied to France again.
Do the king my father too much wrong, and wrong the reputation of your name, in so seeming to confess receipt of that which hath so faithfully been paid.
I do protest I never heard of it, and if you prove it, I'll repay it back and yield up Antiquain.
We arrest your word. Boyer, you can produce acquittances for such a sum from special officers of Charles, his father.
Satisfy me so.
So please your grace, the packet is not come. Where that and other specialties are bound, tomorrow you shall have a sight of them.
It shall suffice me, at which interview all liberal reason would I yield them to. Meantime, receive such welcome at my hand, as honor without breach of honor may make tender of to thy true worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, in my gates, but here without you shall be so received, as you shall deem yourself lodged in my heart, though so denied farther harbor in my house. Your own good thoughts excuse me, and farewell. Tomorrow we shall visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desires consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Lady, I will commend you to my own heart.
Pray you do my commendations. I would be glad to see it.
I would you heard it groan.
Is the soul sick?
Sick at the heart.
Alack, let it bleed.
Would that do it good?
My physic, says I.
Will you prick it with your eye?
No point with my knife.
Now God save thy life.
And yours from long living.
I cannot stay, Thanksgiving.
Sir, I pray a word with you. What lady is that same?
The heir of Alanson, Rosaline, her name.
A gallant lady, monsieur. Fare you well.
I beseech you a word. What is she in the white?
A woman sometimes, if you saw her in the light.
A woman sometimes, if you saw her in the light.
Perchance light in the light. I desire her name.
She has one for herself. To desire that were a shame.
Pray you, sir, whose daughter?
Her mother's, I've heard.
God's blessing on your beard.
Good sir, be not offended. She is an heir of Falconbridge.
Nay, my choler is ended. She is a most sweet lady.
Not unlike, sir. That may be.
What's her name in the cap?
Catherine, my good hap.
Is she wedded or no?
To her will, sir, or so.
You are welcome, sir. Adieu.
Farewell to me, sir, and welcome to you.
Last is Berowne, the merry madcap lord. Not a word with him, but a jest.
And every jest but a word.
It was well done of you to take him at his word.
I was as willing to grapple as he was to board.
Two hot sheeps marry, and wherefore not ships?
No sheep, sweet lamb, unless we feed on your lips.
You sheep, and I pasture, shall that finish the jest?
So your grand pasture for me.
Not so gentle, beast, my lips are no common, though several they be.
Belonging to whom?
to my fortunes and me.
Good wits will be jangling, but gentles agree. The civil war of wits were much better used on Navarre and his bookmen, for here 'tis abused.
If my observation, which very seldom lies by the heart-still rhetoric disclosed with eyes, deceive me not now, Navarre is infected.
With what?
With that which we lovers entitle affected.
Your reason?
Why, all his behaviors do make their retire, to the court of his eye, peeping through desire, his heart like an agate with your print impressed. Proud with his form, in his eye pride expressed. His tongue, all impatient to speak and not see, did stumble with haste in his eyesight to be. All senses to that sense did make their repair, to feel only looking on fairest of fair. Methought all his senses were locked in his eye as jewels in crystal for some prince to buy, who tendering their own worth from whence they were glassed, did point out to buy them along as you passed. His faces on margin did coat such amazes, that all his eyes saw his eyes enchanted with gazes. I'll give you Aquitaine and all that is his, and you give him for my sake but one loving kiss.
Come to our pavilion. Boyette is disposed.
But to speak that in words which his eye disclosed, I only have made a mouth of his eye by adding a tongue, which I know will not lie.
Thou art an old love-monger and speakest skillfully.
He is Cupid's grandfather and learns news of him.
Then was Venus like her mother, but for her father is but grim.
Do you hear me, mad wenches?
No.
What then do you see?
Aye, our way to be gone.
You are too hard for me.
Act Tertius, enter the braggart and the boy.
Warble, child, make passionate my sense of hearing.
Colonel.
Sweet air. Go, tenderness of years, take this key, give enlargement to the swain, bring him festinately hither. I must employ him in a letter to my love.
Will you win your love with a French brawl?
How meanest thou? Brawling in French?
No, my complete master, but to jig off a tune at the tongue's end, canary to it with the feet, humor it with turning up your eye, sigh a note and sing a note, sometimes through the throat. If you swallowed love with singing, love sometime through, knows as if you snuffed up love by smelling love with your hat penthouse like, or the shop of your eyes, with your arms crossed on your thin belly doublet like a rabbit on a spit, or your hands in your pocket like old man after the old painting, and keep not too long in one tune, but a snip and away. These are compliments, these are humors, these betray nice wenches that would be betrayed without these, and make them men of note. Do you note men that are most affected to these?
How hast thou purchased this experience?
By my pen of observation.
But oh,
the hobby horse is forgot.
Callest thou my love hobby horse?
No, master, the hobby horse is but a colt, and your love perhaps a hackney. But have you forgot your love?
Almost I had.
Negligent student, learn her by heart.
By heart and in heart, boy.
And out of heart, master, all those three I will prove.
What wilt thou prove?
A man, if I live, and this, by, in, and without, upon the instant. By heart you love her, because your heart cannot come by her. In heart you love her, because your heart is in love with her. And out of heart you love her, being out of heart that you cannot enjoy her.
I am all these three.
And 3 times as much more, and yet nothing at all.
Fetch hither the swain, he must carry me a letter.
A message well sympathized, a horse to be ambassador for an ass.
What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for he is very slow-gaited. But I go.
The way is but short. Away.
As swift as lead, sir.
Thy meaning, pretty ingenious, is not lead a metal heavy, dull, and slow?
Minime honest, master, or rather, master, no.
I say lead is slow.
You're too swift, sir, to say so. Is that lead slow which is fired from a gun?
Sweet smoke of rhetoric. He reputes me a cannon, and the bullet that's he. I shoot thee at the swain.
Thump then, and I flee.
A most acute juvenile, voluble and free of grace. By thy favor, sweet welkin, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude melancholy, Vela gives thee place. My herald is returned.
A wonder, master, here's a costard broken in a shin.
Costard?
Do we have a page?
38.
No, I meant the character. Some enigma, some riddle.
I am page, sir.
Oh, I am sorry. No enigma, no riddle, no l'envoi, no salve in the email, sir. Or sir plantain, a plain plantain. No l'envoi, no salve, sir, but a plantain.
By virtue thou enforcest laughter. Thy silly thought, my spleen, the heaving of my lungs provokes me to ridiculous smiling. Oh, pardon me, my stars, doth the inconsiderate take salve for l'envoi, and the word l'envoi for a salve?
Do the wise think them other? Is not l'envoi a salve?
No, page. It is an epilogue or discourse to make plain some obscure precedence that hath tofore been fain. Now will I begin your moral, and do you follow with my l'envoi. The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but 3. Until the goose came out of door, staying the odds by adding 4.
A good l'envoi, ending in the goose. Would you desire more?
The boy had sold him a bargain, a goose. That, sir, your pennyworth is good, and your goose be fat. To sell a bargain well is as cunning as fast and loose. Let me see a fat l'envoi. Aye, that's a fat goose.
Come hither, come hither. How did this argument begin?
By saying that a costard was broken in a shin, then called you for the l'envoi.
True, and I for a plantain. Thus came your argument in. Then the boy's fat l'envoi, the goose that you bought, and he ended the market.
But tell me, how is there a costard broken in a shin?
I will tell you sensibly.
Thou hast no feeling of it, Moth. I will speak that l'envoi. I, Costard, running out that was safely within, fell over the threshold and broke my shin.
We will talk no more of this matter.
Till there be more matter in the shin.
Sirrah Costard, I will enfranchise thee.
Oh, marry me to one Francis. I smell some l'envoi, some goose in this.
By my sweet soul, I mean setting thee at liberty and freedoming thy person. Thou wert immured, restrained, captivated, bound.
True, true. And now you will be my purgation and let me loose.
I give thee thy liberty, set thee from durance, and in lieu thereof impose on thee nothing but this. Bear this significant to the country maid Jaquenetta. There is remuneration, for the best ward of mine honors is rewarding my dependence. Moat, follow.
Like the sequel I. Signor Costard, adieu.
My sweet ounce of man's flesh, my inconi Jew. Now will I look to his remuneration. Remuneration. That's a Latin word for 3 farthings. 3 farthings, remuneration. What's the price of this, uncle? I don't know. I'll give you a remuneration. Why? It carries it, remuneration. Why? It is a fairer name than a French crown. I will never buy and sell out of this word.
Oh, my good knave Costard, exceedingly well met.
Well, pray you, sir, how much carnation ribbon may a man buy for a remuneration?
What's a remuneration?
Marry, sir, halfpenny farthing.
Oh, why then 3 farthings worth of silk.
Thank your lordship. God be with you.
Oh, stay, slave. I must employ thee. As thou wilt win my favor, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
When would you have it done, sir?
Oh, this afternoon.
Well, I will do it, sir. Fare you out.
Oh, thou knowest not what it is.
Oh, I shall know, sir, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, slave, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park, and in her train there's a gentle lady. When tongues speak sweetly, then they name her name, and Rosaline they call her. Ask for her, and to her white hand see thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy guerdon. Go.
Guerdon, oh sweet guerdon. It's better than remuneration. 11 pence farthing better. Most sweet guerdon. I will do it, sir, in print. Guerdon. Remuneration.
Oh, and I forsooth in love. I that have become love's whip. A very beadle to a humorous sigh. A critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant o'er the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent, this wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this Signor Junio's giant dwarf, Don Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, liege of all loiterers and malcontents, dread prince of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator and great general of trotting parators. Oh, my little heart. And I to be a corporal of his field and wear his colors like a tumbler's hoop? What? I love. I sue. I seek a wife. A woman that is like a German cloak, still a repairing, ever out of frame, and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched, that it may still go right. Nay, to be perjured, which is worst of all, and among 3, to love the worst of all. A weakly wanton with a velvet brow, with 2 pitch balls stuck in her face for eyes? Aye, and by heaven, one that will do the deed, though Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her. Go to, it is a plague that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, pray, shew, groan. Some men must love my lady, and some Joan.
Actors' quarters. Enter the princess, a forester, her ladies, and her lords.
Was that the king that spurred his horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoe'er it was showed a mounting mind. Well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch. On Saturday we will return to France. Then, Forester, my friend, where is the bush that we must stand and play the murderer in?
Hereby.
Upon the edge of yonder coppice, a stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I thank my beauty I am fair that shoot, and thereupon thou speakst the fairest shoot.
Pardon me, madam, for I meant not so.
What? First, praise me, and then again say no? Oh, short-lived pride, not fair. Alack, for woe.
Yes, madam, fair.
Nay, never paint me now. Where fair is not, praise cannot mend the brow. Here, good my glass, take this for telling true. Fair payment for foul words is more than due.
Nothing but fair is that which you inherit.
See, my beauty will be saved by merit. Oh, heresy in fair, fit for these days. A giving hand, thou foul, shall have fair praise. But come, the both. Now mercy goes to kill, and shooting well is then accounted ill. Thus will I save my credit in the shoot, not wounding. Pity would not let me do it. If wounding, then it was to show my skill, that more for praise than purpose meant to kill. And out of question, so it is sometimes, glory grows guilty of detested crimes, when for fame's sake, for praise and outward part, we bend for that the working of the heart. As I for praise alone now seek to spill the poor dear's blood, that my heart means no ill.
Do not cursed wives hold that self-sovereignty only for praise sake, when they strive to be lords over their lords?
Only for praise and praise we may afford to any lady that subdues a lord.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
God dig you den all. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her, fellow, by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, the highest?
The thickest and the tallest.
The thickest and the tallest. It is so, truth is truth, and your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit. One of these maids' girdles for your waist should be fit. Are you not the chief woman? You are the thickest here.
What's your will, sir? What's your will?
I have a letter from Monsieur Berowne to one Lady Rosaline.
Oh, thy letter. He's a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boye, you can carve. Break up this capon.
I am bound to serve. This letter is mid-tooth. It importeth none here. It is writ to Jaquenetta.
We will read it. I swear, break the neck of the wax, and everyone give ear.
By heavens, that thou art fair is most infallible. True that thou art beauteous, truth itself that thou art lovely, more fair than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy herical vassal, the magnanimous and most illustrious King Cophetua, set eye upon the pernicious and indubitate beggar Xenophon, and he it was that might right say, Vende vidi vici, which to anatize in the vulgar, obese and obscure vulgar vidilicet. He came, see, and overcame. He came one, see two, overcame three. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What saw he? The beggar. Who overcame he? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king. The captain is enriched. On whose side? The beggars. The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one. On one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witness thy lowliness. Shall I commend thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags, robes, for titles for thyself, me? Thus expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. Thine, in the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano de Amato. Thus dost thou hear the Neman lion roar against thee, thou lamb that standeth as his prey. Submissive fall his princely feet before, and him from forage will incline to play. But if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for his rage, repasture for his den.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vane, what weathercock! Did you ever hear better?
I am much deceived. but I remember the style.
Else your memory is bad going o'er it erewhile.
This Armado is a Spaniard that keeps here in court, a fair to same, a monocle, and one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmates.
Thou fellow, a word. Who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
To whom shouldst thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Berowne, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosaline.
Thou hast mistaken his letter. Come, lords, away. Here, sweet, put up this. 'Twill be thine another day.
Who is the shooter? Who is the shooter?
Shall I teach you to know?
I, my continental beauty.
Why, she that bears the bow, finely put off.
My lady goes to kill horns, but if thou marry, hang me by thy neck, if horns that year miscarry, finally put on.
Well then, I am the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose by the horns, yourself come not near. Finely put on indeed.
You still wrangle with her, Boyer, and she strikes at the brow.
But she herself is hit lower. If I hit her now?
Shall I come upon thee with an old saying? That was a man when King Pippin of France was a little boy, as touching the hit it.
So I may answer thee with one as old as that was a woman when Queen Guinevere of Britain was a little wench, as touching the hit it.
Thou canst not hit it, hit it, hit it. Thou canst not hit it, my good man.
I cannot, and I cannot, another can.
By my troth, most pleasant how both did fit it.
A mark marvelous well shot, for they both did hit.
A mark, but that mark, a mark says, my lady, let the mark have a prick in it to meet it as it may be.
Wide of the bow hand, in faith, your hand is out.
Indeed, he must shoot nearer, or he'll ne'er hit the clout.
And if my hand be out, then belike your hand is in.
And then will she get the upshoot by cleaving the is in.
Come, you talk greasily. Your lips grow foul.
She's too hard for you at pricks, sir. Challenge her to bowl.
I fear too much rubbing. Good night, my good owl.
By my soul, a swain, a most simple clown. Lord, Lord, how the ladies and I have put him down. Oh, my troth, most sweet jest, most inconny vulgar wit, when it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely, as it were, so fit. Armathor to the side, oh, a most dainty man, to see him walk before a lady, and to bear her fan, and to see him kiss his hand. Oh, how most sweetly he will swear, and his page at t'other side, that handful of wit, ah, heavens, it is a most pathetical knit. Sola, sola.
Shoot within. Act 4, Scene 2, enter Dull, Holofernes the pedant, and Nathaniel. Very reverent sport, truly, and done in the testimony of a good conscience.
Well, the deer, as you know, sanguis in blood, ripe as a water, who now hangeth like a jewel in the ear of Cherub the sky, the welcome heaven, and anon falleth like a crab on the face of terror, the soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Master Holofernes, the epithets are sweetly therein, like a scholar at the least. But, sir, I assure you, it was a buck of the first head.
Sir, Nathaniel, hode credo.
'Twas not a hode credo, 'twas a pricket.
Oh, most barbarous intimation, yet a kind of insinuation, as it were in viva, in way of explication facere, as it were in replication, or rather ostentare, to show, as it were, his inclination after he's undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unpruned, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion, to insert again my hode credo for a deer.
I said the deer was not a hoed credo, 'twas a pricket.
Oh, twice sod simplicity, bis coctus. Oh, thou monster ignorance, how deformed dost thou look!
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are bred in a book. He hath not ear paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He is only an animal, only sensible in the duller parts, and such barren plants as are set before us, that we thankful should be, which we of taste and feeling are, for those parts that do fructify in us more than he. For as it would ill become me to be vain, indiscreet, or a fool, so a patch set on learning to see him in a school. But omne bene, say I, being of an old father's mind, many can brook the weather that love not the wind.
You two are bookmen. Can you tell by your wit what was a month old at Cain's birth that's not 5 weeks old as yet?
Oh, dictissima, good man, dull. Dictissima, good man, dull.
What is dictima?
A title to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
Oh, the moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and wrought not to 5 weeks when he came to 50. The illusion holds in the exchange.
'Tis true indeed, the collusion holds in the exchange.
God comfort thy capacity. I say the illusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the collusion holds in the exchange, for the moon is never but a month old. And I say beside that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Purge, good Monsieur Holofernes, purge. So it shall. Oh, sorry. Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of the deer? And to humour the ignorant called the deer, the princess killed a pricket.
Purge, good Master Holofernes, purge, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect a letter, for it argues facility. The prayful princess pierced and pricked a pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to sore, then sorrel jumps from thicket, or pricket sore, or else sorrel, the people fall a hooting. If sore be sore, then L to sore makes 50 sores o' sorrow. Of one sore I an 100 make by adding but one more L.
A rare talent.
If a talent be a claw, look how he claws him with a talent.
Well, this is I have simple, a foolish, extravagant spirit, full of forms, figures, shapes, objects, ideas, apprehensions, motions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory, nourished in the womb of primata, and delivered upon the mellowing of occasion. But the gift is good in those in whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
Sir, I praise the Lord for you, and so may my parishioners, for their sons are well tutored by you, and their daughters profit very greatly under you. You are a good member of the Commonwealth.
Me Hercle, if their sons be ingenious, they shall want no instruction. If their daughters be capable, I will put it to them. But vir sapis qui pocha loquiator, a soul feminine saluteth us.
God give you good morrow, Master Person.
Oh, Master Person, quasi-person, and if one should be pursed, which is the one?
Marry, Monsieur Schoolmaster, he that is likest to a hogshead.
Of pursing a hogshead, a good lustre of conceit in a turf of earth, fire enough for a flint, pearl enough for a swine. 'Tis pretty, it is well.
Good master person, be so good as read me this letter. It was given me by Costard and sent me from Don Armado. I beseech you, read it.
Facile precor gelida quando pecas omnia sub vimbra ruminat, and so forth. Good man Tuan, I may speak of thee as the traveller doth of Venice. Venci venture que non te unde, que non te perce. Old Mantuan, who understandeth thee not, ut re sol lami fa. And pardon, sir, what are the contents? Or rather, as Horace says in his, what my soul verses.
Aye, sir, and very learned.
Well, let me hear a staff, a stanza, a verse. Lego Domine.
If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his bias leaves, and make his book thine eyes, where all those pleasures live that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend. All ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice his dreadful thunder, which not to anger meant is music and sweet fire, celestial as thou art. Oh, pardon love this wrong that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue.
Oh, you find not the apostrophe, and so miss the accent. Let me supervise the canjonet.
That you and me. Says,
Oh, sir. Oh, I'm keeping going. Here are only numbers ratified, but for the elegancy, facility, and golden cadence of poesy correct. Oh, Vidius Naso was the man. And why indeed Naso, but for smelling out the odoriferous flowers of fancy? The jerks of invention imitare is nothing. So doth the hound his master, the ape his keeper, the tired horse his rider, but dam Ocella virgin. Was this directed to you?
I, sir, from one Monsieur Berowne, one of the strange Queen's lords.
Oh, I will overglance the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous lady Rosaline. Oh, well, I will look again at the intellect of the letter for the nomination of the party written to the person written unto. Your ladyship in all desired employment, Berowne.
Sir Halifax, this Berowne is one of the votaries that with the king, and here he hath framed a letter to a sequent of the stranger queens, which accidentally or by way of progression hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet, deliver this paper into the hand of the king. It may concern much. Stay not thy compliment, I forgive thy duty. Go, adieu.
Good Costard, go with me. Sir, God save your life.
Have with thee, my girl.
Sir, you have done this in the fear of God very religiously, and as a certain father saith, Sir, tell not me of the father, I do fear colorable colours. But to return to the verses, did they please you, Sir Nathaniel?
Marvellous well for the pen.
Oh, I do dine today as the fathers of a certain pupil of mine, where if, being repast, it shall please you to gratify the table with a grace. I will, my privilege, I have with the parents of the foresaid child, or pupil, undertake your bien ventu, where I will prove those verses to be very unlearned, neither savouring of poetry, wit, nor invention. Yeah, I beseech your society.
And thank you too, for society, saith the text, is the happiness of life.
And certes the text most infallibly concludes it. Sir, I do invite you too. You shall not see me nay. Pocha verba. Away, the Gentiles are at their game, and we will to our recreation.
Act 4, Scene 3, enter Berowne with a paper in his hand, alone.
You're muted, Tony.
The king, he is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil. I am toiling in a pitch that defiles. Defile, a foul word. Well, set thee down, sorrow, for so they say the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool. Well proved wit. By the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills me. I, a sheep. Well proved against again am I side. I will not love. If I do, hang me. In faith, I will not. Oh, but her eye, by this light, but for her eye, I would not love her. Yes, but for her 2 eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love. And it hath taught me to rhyme and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady. By the world, I would not care a pin if the other 3 were then. Here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
Ay, me.
Oh, shot by heaven. Proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt under the left pap. In faith, secrets.
Oh, sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams when their fresh rays have smote. The night of dew that on my cheeks drown flows, nor shines the silver moon 1/2 so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep. No drop, but as a coach doth carry thee, so rideth thou triumphing in my woe. But do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses and still make me weep. O queen of queens, thou fair, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves shade folly. Who comes here?
Now in thy likeness. One moment.
What? Longaville? And reading? Listen here.
Me, I am forsworn.
Why, he comes in like a Persian wearing papers.
Why, he comes in like a purger wearing papers.
Love, I hope, sweet fellowship in shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that have been perjured so?
Beg pardon, gentles, something is wrong with my screen, and I keep...
Oh, I could put thee in comfort, not by two that I know. Thou makest in the triumphy, the corner cap of society, the shape of love's tribune that hangs upon simplicity.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Oh, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers will I tear and write in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanted Cupid's hose. Disfigure not his shop.
This same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, against whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapor is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth dost shine, exhalest this vapor vow. In thee it is. If broken then, it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath to win a paradise?
This is the liver vein which makes flesh a deity. A green goose, a goddess, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend. We are much out of the way.
By whom shall I send this? Ah, company, stay.
All hid, an old infant play. Like a demigod here sit I in the sky, and wretched fools secrets heedfully o'er-eye. More sacks to the mill. Oh, heavens, I have my wish. Dumane transformed, 4 woodcocks in a dish.
Oh, most divine Kate.
Oh, most profane coxcomb.
By heaven, the wonder of a mortal eye.
By earth she is not corporal, there you lie.
Her amber hairs for fowl hath amber coated.
An amber-coated raven was well noted.
As upright as the cedar.
Stoop, I say, her shoulder is with child.
As fair as day.
Aye, as some days, but then no sun must shine.
Oh, that I had my wish.
And I had mine.
And mine too, good lord.
Amen. So I had mine. Is not that a good word?
I would forget her, but a fever she reigns in my blood and will remembered be.
A fever in your blood. Why then incision could let her out in saucers, sweet misprision.
Once more, I'll read the ode that I have writ.
Once more I'll mark how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack the day, love, whose month is every May, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Through the velvet leaves the wind, all unseen, can passage find, that the lover sick to death wish himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks may blow, ere, would I might triumph so, but alack, my hand is sworn, ne'er to pluck thee from thy throne. Vow alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck a sweet. Do it not call sin on me that I am forsworn for thee, thou, for whom Jove would swear, Jove but an Ethiop were, and deny himself for love, turning mortal for thy love. This I will send, and something else more plain that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the king Berowne and Longaville were lovers too, ill to example ill, would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend, where all alike do dote.
Dumane, thy love is far from charity. You may look pale, but I should blush, I know, to be overheard and taken napping so.
Come, sir, you blush. As your case is such. You chided him, offering twice as much. You do not love Maria Longaville? Never did sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay his wreath of arms athwart his loving bosom to keep down his heart. I have been closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you, noted well your passion. Ay me, says one. Oh, Jove, cries another cries, and her hairs were gold, crystal, and others' eyes. You would for paradise break faith and troth, and Jove for your love would infringe an oath. And will Berowne say, what will Berowne say when he shall hear faith infringed with such zeal and swear? How did he scorn? How will he spend his wits? How will he triumph, leap, and laugh at it? For all is the wealth that I ever did see. I would not have him know so much by me.
Now step I forth to whip hypocrisy. Ah, good my liege, I pray thee pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou thus to reprove these worms for loving, that are most in love? Your eyes do make no couches in your tears. There is no certain princess that appears. You'll not be perjured, 'tis a hateful thing. Tush, none but minstrels like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not all three of you to be thus much o'ershot? You found his moth, the king your moth did see, but I a beam do find in each of three. Oh, what a scene of foolery have I seen, of sighs. Oh me, with what strict patience have I sat to see a king transform it to a gnat, to see great Hercules a gig, and profound Solomon turning a jig, and Nestor play at pushpin with the boys, and cricket Timon laugh at idle toys. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good Dumane, and gentle Longaville, where lies thy pain? And where my lieges? All about the breast.
Ah, too bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Not you by me, but I betrayed to you. I that am honest, I that hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with men like men of inconstancy. When shall you see me write a thing in rhyme, or groan for Joan, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Soft, whither away so fast? A true man or a thief that gallops so?
I post from love. Good lover, let me go.
God bless the king.
What present hast thou there?
Some certain treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing neither, the treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our person misdoubts it. It was treason, he said.
Berowne, read it over. What hast thou it?
Of Costard.
Where hast thou it?
Of Don Andromadio.
Oh no. What is it in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace need not fear it.
It did move him to passion, and therefore let's hear it.
you horse and loggerhead, you were born to do me shame.
What? Oh, we can't hear you now. No, we still can't hear you, Berowne.
You horse and loggerhead, you were born to do me shame. Guilty, my lord, guilty, I confess, I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me, fool, to make up the mess. He, and you, my liege, and I are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. Or dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
Out, the number is even.
True, we are 4. Will these turtles be gone?
And sirs away.
Walk aside the true folk and let the traitors stay.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers. Oh, let us embrace. As true we are in flesh and blood can be. The sea will ebb and flow, heaven will show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we are born, therefore of all hands must we be forsworn.
What, did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you? Who sees the heavenly Rosaline, that, like a rude and savage man of Ind, at the first opening of the gorgeous East, bows not his vassal head, and stricken blind, kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory eagle-sighted eye dares look upon the heaven of her brow, that is not blinded by her majesty?
What zeal, what fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress, is gracious moon. She, attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I Berowne. But for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions, the culled sovereignty do meet as at a fair in her fair cheeks. Where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that want itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues. Fie, painted rhetoric. Oh, she needs it not. To things of sale, a seller's praise belongs. She passes praise, then praise too short doth blot. A withered hermite, 50 winters worn, doth shake off 50 looking in her eye. Beauty doth varnish age as if new born, and gives the crutch the cradle's infancy. Oh, 'tis the sun that makes all things shine.
By heaven, thy love is black as ebony.
Is ebony like her? Oh, word divine! A wife of such a wood were felicity. Oh, who can give an oath? Where is a book that I may swear beauty doth beauty lack, if that she learn not of her eye to look? No face is fair that is not full so black.
Oh, paradox. Black is the badge of hell, the hue of dungeons, and the school of night, and beauty's crest becomes the heaven's light. Well,
Devils soonest tempt resembling spirits of light, or if in black my lady's brow be decked, it mourns that painting usurping hair should ravish doters with a false aspect. And therefore is she born to make black fair. Her favor turns the fashion of the days, for native blood is counted painting now, and therefore red that would avoid dispraise paints itself black to imitate her brow.
To look like her are chimney sweepers black.
And since her time our colliers counted bright.
and Ethiops of their sweet complexion crack.
Your
candles now for darkness light.
Your mistresses dare never come in rain, for fear their colors should be washed away.
'Twere good yours did, for sir, to tell you plain, I'll find a fairer face not washed today.
I'll prove her fair, or talk till doomsday here.
No devil will fright thee then so much as she.
I never knew a man hold vile stuff so dear.
Look, here's thy love, my foot in her face see.
Oh, if the streets were paved with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such tread.
Oh, vile, then as she goes, what upward lies? The street should see as she walked overhead.
What of this? Are we not all in love?
Oh, nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leaves this chat, and good Berowne, now prove our loving lawful and our faith not torn.
I marry there, some flattery for this evil.
No.
Oh, some authority how to proceed, some tricks, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
Salve for perjury.
Oh, 'tis more than need. Have at you then, affection's men-at-arms. Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. And where that you have vowed to study, lords, in that each of you hath forsworn his book? Can you still dream and pore and thereon look? For when would you, my lord, or you, have found the ground of study's excellence without the beauty of a woman's face? From woman's eyes this doctrine I derive. They are the ground, the books, the academes, from whence doth spring the true Promethean fire. Why, universal plodding poisons up the nimble spirits in the arteries, as motion and long during action tires the sinewy vigor of the travailer. Now, for not looking upon a woman's face, you have in that forsworn the use of eyes, and study too, the causer of your vow. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourself, and where we are, our learning likewise is. Then when ourselves we see in ladies' eyes, with ourselves, do not we likewise see our learning there? Oh, we have made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my liege, or you, in leaden contemplation, have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with? Other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore finding barren practisers, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power above their functions and their offices. It adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eyes will gaze an eagle blind. A lover's care will hear the lowest sound. When the suspicious head of theft is stopped, love's feeling is more soft and sensible. Then are the tender horns of cockled snails. Love's tongue proves dainty, Bacchus gross in taste. For valor, is not love a Hercules, still climbing trees and Hesperides? Subtle as Sphinx, sweet and musical as bright Apollo's lute, strung with his hair. And when love speaks, the voice of all the gods make heaven drowsy with the harmony. Never durst poet touch a pen to write until his ink were tempered with love's sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears and plant in tyrants mild humility. From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They sparkle still the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the art, the academes that show, contain, and nourish all the world. Else none at all in aught proves excellent. Then fools you were these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men, or for men's sake, the author of these women, or women's sake, by whom we men are men. Let's once loose our oaths to find ourselves. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law. And who can sever love from charity?
Saint Cupid, then, and soldiers to the field.
Advance your standards, and upon them, lords, pell-mell!
Longaville.
Now,
there we go.
Now to plain dealing. Lay these gloves by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
And win them too, therefore. Let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents. Berowne, we still can't hear you.
First, from the park, let us conduct them thither. Then homeward every man attach the hand of his fair mistress. In the afternoon, we will with some strange pastimes solace them, such as the shortness of the time can shape. For revels, dances, masks, and merry hours, forerun fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Away, no time shall be omitted. That will be time, and may us be fitted.
Alone, sowed cockle, reaped no corn, and justice always whirls in equal measure. Light wenches may prove plagues to men forsworn. If so, our copper buys no better treasure.
Act 5, Scene 1. Enter the pedant, curate, and doll.
Satis quid sufficit.
I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's, who is entitled, nominated, or called Don Adriano de Armado.
Novi hominum tanquam te. His humour is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filled, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behaviour vain, ridiculous and thrasonical. He is too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too peregrinat, as I may call it.
A most singular and choice epithet.
He draweth out the thread of his verbosity finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fanatical phantasms, such insociable and point-devised companions, such wreckers of orthography as to speak doubt fine when he should say doubt, debt when he should pronounce debt, debt not debt. He clips a calf, half, neighbor vocator neighbor, nay abbreviate, nay. This is abominable. When he should call abominable, it insinuators me of infamy, nay intelligis domini, to make frantic, lunaticy.
Leos Deo bene intelligo.
Balme boon for boon precision. A little scratch it, 'twill serve.
Vides de quis venit?
Video et guardio. Quare cera, not sera?
Armado?
I'm sorry, what page are we on?
79.
Cera.
Quare cera, not sera?
Men of peace, well encountered.
Most military, sir, salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps.
Oh, they have lived long on the alms basket of words. I marvel that Monsieur hath not eaten thee for a word, for thou art not so long by the head as honorifica bilitudinatibus. Thou art easier swallowed than a flapdragon.
peace. The peal begins.
Monsieur, are you not lettered?
Yes, yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is ab spelled backward with the horn on his head?
Bah! Peritia with a horn added.
Bah! Most silly sheep. With a horn you hear his learning.
Quis, quis, thou consonant.
The last of the 5 vowels if you repeat them, or the 5th if I.
I will repeat them. A, E, I.
The sheep, the other 2 concludes it. O, you.
Now, by the salt wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venaway of wit, snip, snap, quick, and home. It rejoiceth my intellect's true wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is witold.
What is the figure? What is the figure?
Horns.
Oh, thou disputes like an infant. Go, whip thy jig.
Lend me your horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy. Una kita a gig of a cuckold's horn.
And I had but 1 penny in the world, thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread. Oh, there is the very remuneration I had of my master, thou halfpenny purse of wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, and the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard. What a joyful father wouldst thou make me. Go to. Thou hadst it a dunghill at the fingers' ends, as they say.
Oh, I smell false Latin. Dunghill for unguem.
Artsman preambulat, we will be singled from the barbarous. Do you not educate youth at the charge house on the top of the mountain?
Oh, Mons, the hill.
At your sweet pleasure for the mountain.
I do sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
The posterior of the day, most generous, is liable, congruent, and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well culled. Choose, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir, I do assure you.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure ye, very good friend. For what is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head. And among other importunate and most serious designs, and of great import indeed too, but let that pass, for I must tell thee it will please his grace by the world sometime to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal finger thus dally with my excrement, with my mustachio. But, sweetheart, let that pass. By the world, I recount no fables, some certain special honors it pleaseth his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel that hath seen the world, but let that pass. The very all of all is, but sweetheart, I do implore secrecy, that the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation, or show, or pageant, or antic, or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions, and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you with all to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies. Sir Holofernes, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of the day, to be rendered by our assistants the king's command, and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princess. I say none so fit as to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman Judas Maccabeus, this swain, because of his great limb or joint, hath passed Pompey, the great, the page Hercules.
Pardon, Sir Error, he is not quantity enough for that worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club.
I shall have audience. He shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose.
Excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Hercules! Now thou crushest the snake." That is the way to make an offense gracious, though few have the grace to do it.
For the rest of the worthies?
I will play 3 myself.
Thrice worthy gentlemen.
Shall I tell you a thing?
Oh, we attend.
We will have, if this fadge not, an antic. I beseech you follow.
Via, good man Dull, thou hast spoken no word all this while.
Nor understood none neither, sir.
Alone we will employ thee.
I'll make one in a dance or so. Or I will play on the tabor to the worthies and let them dance the hay.
Most dull, most honest Dull, to our sport away.
Act 5, Scene 2. Enter the ladies.
Sweethearts, we shall be rich ere we depart if fairings come thus plentifully in. A lady walled about with diamonds. Look you what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
Nothing but this. Yes, as much love in rhyme as would be crammed up in a sheet of paper, writ on both sides, the leaf, margent, and all, that he was fain to seal on Cupid's name.
That was the way to make his godhead wax, for he hath been 5,000 years a boy.
Aye, and a shrewd unhappy gallows too.
You'll ne'er be friends with him, a killed your sister.
He made her melancholy, sad and heavy, and so she died. Had she been light like you, of such a merry, nimble, stirring spirit, she might have been a grandam ere she died, and so may you, for a light heart lives long.
What's your dark meaning, mouse, of this light word?
A light condition in a beauty dark.
We need more light to find your meaning out.
You'll mar the light by taking it in snuff. Therefore, I'll darkly end the argument.
Look what you do. You do it still in the dark.
So do not you, for you are a light wench.
Indeed, I weigh not you, and therefore light.
You weigh me not. Oh, that's you care not for me.
Great reason, for past care is still past cure.
Well bandied both, a set of wit well played, but Rosaline, you have a favor too. Who sent it, and what is it?
I would you knew, and if my face were but as fair as yours, my favor were as great, be witness this. Nay, I have verses too, I think, Berowne. The numbers true, and were the numbering too. I were the fairest goddess on the ground. I am compared to 20,000 fairs. Oh, he hath drawn my picture in his letter.
Anything like?
Much in the letters, nothing in the praise.
Beauteous as ink, a good conclusion.
Fair as a text to be in a copybook.
Oh, where pencils? How? Let me not die your debtor, my red dominical, my golden letter. Oh, that your face were full of O's.
A pox of that jest, and I beshrew all shrows. But Catherine, what was sent to you from fair Dumane?
Madam, this glove.
Did he not send you twain?
Yes, madam, and moreover, some 1,000 verses of a faithful lover, a huge translation of hypocrisy, wildly compiled, profound simplicity.
This and these pearls to me sent Longaville. The letter is too long by half a mile.
I think no less. Dost thou wish in heart the chain were longer and the letter short?
Aye, or I would these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mock our lovers so.
They are worse fools to purchase mocking so. That same Berowne I'll torture ere I go. Oh, that I knew he were but in by the week, how I would make him fawn and beg and seek, and wait the season, and observe the times, and spend his prodigal wits in bootless rhymes, and shape his service wholly to my device, and make him proud to make me proud that jests. So pertant, like would I o'ersway his state, that he should be my fool, and I his fate.
None are so surely caught when they are catched, as wit turned fool to folly in wisdom hatched. Hath wisdom's warrant and the help of school, and wit's own grace to grace a learned fool.
The blood of youth burns not with such excess, as gravity's revolt to wantons be.
Folly in fools bears not so strong a note as foolery in the wise, when wit doth dote, since all the power thereof it doth apply to prove by wit worth in simplicity.
Oh, here comes Boye and mirth in his face.
I'm coming, I lost my place. Give me page, please, please.
Page 89.
Thank you, lovies. I'll be right there. I'm coming.
Are you stabbed with laughter?
No, my scroll. I scrolled down too far. I lost my place. I'm coming right now.
Oh, yes, you're always late.
I'm almost there, and here I am. Oh, I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
The news, Boye.
Oh, prepare, battle, prepare! Arm, wenches, arm! Encounters mounted are against your peace. Love doth approach disguised, armed in arguments. You'll be surprised. Muster your wits, stand in your own defense, or hide your heads like cowards and fly hence.
Saint Denis to Saint Cupid, what are they that charge their breath against us? Say, scout, say.
Under the cool shade of a sycamore, I thought to close mine eyes some half an hour, when lo, to interrupt my purposed rest, toward that shade I might behold address the king and his companions. Warily I stole into a neighbor's thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear, that by and by disguised they will be here. Their herald is a petty knavish page, that will by heart hath conned his embassage. Action and accent did they teach him there. Thus must thou speak, and thus thy body bear, and ever anon they made a doubt. Presence majestical would put him out. For quoth the king, an angel shalt thou see, yet feared not thou, but speak audaciously. The boy replied, an angel is not evil. I should have feared her, had she been a devil. With that, all laughed and clapped him on the shoulder, making the bold wag of their praises bolder. One rubs his elbow thus, and flared and swore. A better speech was never spoke before. Another with his finger and his thumb cried, Via, we'll do it, come what will come. The third he capered, cried, all goes well. The fourth turned on the toe, and down he fell. With that, all they did tumble on the ground with such a zealous laughter, so profound, that in his spleen ridiculous appears to check their follies, passions, solemn tears.
But what come they to visit us?
They do, and are apparelled thus, like Muscovites, or Muscovites, or Russians, as I guess. Their purpose is to parley, to court and dance, and every one of his love's feet will advance unto his several mistresses, which they'll know by favors several, which they best did bestow.
And will they so? The gallants shall be tasked for ladies. We will every one be masked, and not a man of them shall have the grace, despite of suit, to see a lady's face. Hold, Rosaline, this favor thou shalt wear, and then the king will court thee for his dear. And hold, take thou this, my sweet, and give me thine. So shall Berowne take me for Rosaline. And change your favors too, so shall your loves woo contrary, deceived by these removes.
Come on then, wear the favors most in sight.
In this changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it but in mocking merriment, and mock for mock is only my intent. Their several counsels they unbosom shall, to loves mistook and so be mocked withal. Upon the next occasion that we meet, with visages displayed, to talk and greet.
But shall we dance, if they desire us to it?
No, to the death we will not move a foot, nor to their penned speech render we no grace. But while 'tis spoke, each turn away his face.
That contempt will kill the keeper's heart and quite divorce his memory from his part.
Therefore I do it, and I make no doubt the rest will e'er come in if he be out. There's no such sport as sport by sport o'erthrown, to make theirs ours and ours none but our own. So shall we stay, mocking intended game, and they well mocked depart away with shame.
The trumpet sounds. Be masked. The mask is come.
All hail the richest beauties on the earth.
Beauty's no richer than rich taffeta.
A holy parcel of the fairest dames that ever turned their backs to mortal views.
Their eyes, villain, their eyes.
That ever turned their eyes to mortal views. Out.
True, out indeed.
Out of your favors, heavenly spirits, vouchsafe not to behold.
Once to behold, rogue.
Once to behold with your sunbeamed eyes, with your sunbeamed eyes.
I will not answer to that appetite. You will best call it daughter's beamed eyes.
You cannot mock me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Begone, you rogue.
What would these strangers? Know their minds, Boyette. If they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain man recount their purposes. Know what they would?
What would you with the princess?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
What would they, say they?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
Why, that they have, and bid them so be gone.
She says you have it, and you may be gone. I said she says you have it, and you may be gone. You may be gone.
Speak, your majesty, speak.
Say to her that we have measured many miles to tread a measure with you on the grass.
Hello, where is she? Where is all right, never mind. They say that they have met, they say, hello, where are you? Is she over there? I don't see her. Okay, I'll tell her.
Rosaline!
Rosaline, where are you? Rosaline!
Just say it to her.
I say it to you anyway, Rosaline. They say that you have
here.
measured many miles.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Boyette. They say that they have measured many a mile?
They say that they have measured many a mile to tread a measure with you on the grass, on this grass.
It is not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, the measure then of one is easily told.
If it come to hither, you have measured miles and many miles. The princess bids me tell you how many inches does fill up 1 mile.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps of many weary miles you have o'ergone are numbered in the travel of 1 mile?
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite, that we may do it still without account. Vouchsafe to show the sunshine of your face, that we, like savages, may worship it.
My face is but a moon, and clouded too.
Oh, blessed are clouds, as do have shut clouds do. Vouchsafe, bright moon, and I see these thy stars to shine. Those clouds were moved upon our watery eyne.
O vain petitioner, beg a greater matter. Thou now request but moonshine in the water.
Then in our measure vouchsafe but one change. Thou bidst me beg, this begging is not strange.
Play music then. Nay, you must do it soon. Not yet, no dance. Thus change I like the moon.
Will you not dance? How come you thus estranged?
You took the moon at full, but now she's changed.
Oh, yet still she is the moon and I, the man.
The music plays. Vouchsafe some motion to it. Our ears vouchsafe it.
But your legs should do it.
Since you are strangers and come here by chance, we'll not be nice. Take hands. We will not dance.
Why, take you hands then.
Only to part friends. Curtsy, sweethearts, and so the measure ends.
More measure of this measure, be not nice.
We can afford no more at such a price.
Praise yourselves, what buys your company?
Your absence only.
That never be.
Then cannot we be bought, and so adieu, twice to your visor, and half once to you.
If you deny to dance, let's hold more chat.
In private, then.
I am best pleased with that.
White-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey and milk and sugar, there is 3.
Nay then, 2 trays, and if you grow so nice, Megethelene, Hort and Malmsey, well-run dice, there's half a dozen sweets.
7th sweet adieu. Since you can caulk, I'll play no more with you.
1 word in secret.
Let it not be sweet.
Thou grievest my gall.
Gall bitter.
Therefore, meat.
Will you vouchsafe with me to change a word?
Name it.
Fair lady.
Say so. Fair lord, take you that for your fair lady.
Please it you, as much in private, and I'll bid adieu.
What, was your visit made without a tongue? Was it?
Good Longaville, speak you.
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason quickly, sir, I long.
You have a double tongue within your mask, and would afford my speechless vizard half.
Veal, quoth the Dutchman, is not veal a calf?
A calf, fair lady.
No, a fair lord calf.
Let's part the word.
No, I'll not be your half. Take all and wean it, it may prove an ox.
Look how you butt yourself in these sharp marks. Will you give horns, chaste lady? Do not so.
Then die a calf before your horns do grow.
1 word in private with you ere I die.
Bleat softly then, the butcher hears you cry.
Oh, the tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as is the raven's edge invisible, cutting a smaller hair than may be seen, and other sense of sense so sensible. Seemeth their conference, their conceits have wings, fleeter than arrows, bullets, winds, thought, swifter things.
Not 1 word more, my maids. Break off, break off.
By heaven, all dry beaten with pure scoff.
Farewell, mad wenches, you have a simple wits.
20 adieus, my frozen Moskowitz. Are these the breeds of wits so wondered at?
Take as they are, with your breaths puffed out.
Well-liking wits they have. Roast, fat, fat.
Oh, poverty and wit, kingly poorly flout. Will they not, think you, hang themselves tonight, or ever but in vizards show their faces? This pert Berowne was out of countenance quite.
They were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping ripe for a good word.
Berowne did swear himself out of all suit.
Dumane was at my service, and his sword. No point, quote I. My servant straight was mute.
Lord Longaville said I came o'er his heart, and trow you what he called me?
Qualm, perhaps?
Yes, in good faith.
And go, sickness as thou art.
Well, better wits have worn plain statute caps. But will you hear, the king is my love sworn.
And quick Berowne hath plighted faith to me.
and Longaville was for my service born.
Dumane is mine as sure as bark on tree.
Madam and pretty mistress, give care. Immediately they will be again here, in their own shapes, for it can never be they will digest this harsh indignity.
Will they return?
They will, God knows, and leap for joy, though they are lame with blows. Therefore change favors, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in the summer air.
How blow? How blow? Speak to be understood.
Fair lady, masked are roses in their bud. Dismasked, their damask sweet commixture shown, are angels veiling clouds or roses blown.
Avant perplexity, what shall we do if they return in their own shapes to woo?
Good madam, if by me you'll be advised, let's mock them still as well known as disguised. Let us complain to them what fools were here, disguised like Muscovites in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were and to what end their shallow shows and prologue vilely penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented at our tent to us.
Ladies, withdraw, the gallants are at hand.
Whip to our tents as roes run our land.
Sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Gone to a tent. Please it your majesty, commend me any service to her.
That she vouchsafe me audience for one word.
I will, and so will she, I know, my lord.
This fellow picks up wit as pigeons peas, and utters it again when Jove doth please. He is wit's peddler, and retails his wares at wakes and wassels, meetings, markets, fairs. And we that sell by gross, the Lord doth know, have not the grace to grace it with such show. This gallant pins the wenches on his sleeve. Had he been Adam, he had tempted Eve. He can carve too, and lisp, why, this is he that kissed away his hand in courtesy. This is the ape of form, Monsieur the Nice, that when he plays at tables chides the dice in honorable terms. Nay, he can sing a mean most meanly, and in ushering mend him who can. The ladies call him sweet. The stairs as he treads on them kiss his feet. This is the flower that smiles on everyone, to show his teeth as white as whale's bone. And consciences that will not die in debt pay him the duty of honey-tongued boyette.
A blister on his sweet tongue with my hearts that put Armado's page out of his parts.
See where it comes. Behavior, what wert thou till this madman showed thee? And what art thou now?
All hail, sweet madam, and fair time of day.
Fair and all hail as foul as I conceive.
Construe my speeches better, if you may.
Then wish me better, I will give you leave.
We came to visit you, and propose now to lead you to our court. Vouchsafe it then.
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow. Nor God nor I delights in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your I must break my oath.
You nickname virtue, vice you should have spoke. For virtue's office never breaks men troth. Now by my maiden honor, yet as pure as the unsallied lily, I protest. A world of torments though I should endure, I would not yield to be your house's guest. So much I hate a breaking cause to be of heavenly oaths vowed with integrity.
Oh, you have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Not so, my lord. It is not so, I swear. We have had pastimes here and pleasant game. A mess of Russians left us but of late.
How, madam? Russians?
Aye, in truth, my lord, trim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It is not so, my lord. My lady to the manner of the days in courtesy gives undeserving praise. We four indeed confronted were with four in Russia habit. Here they stayed an hour and talked apace, and in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this I think, when they are thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry to me. Gentle sweet, your wits make wise things foolish when we greet with eyes best seeing, heaven's fiery eye. By light we lose light. Your capacity is of that nature, that to your huge store, wise things seem foolish and rich things but poor.
This proves you wise and rich, for in my eye.
I am a fool and full of poverty.
But that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snatch words from my tongue.
Oh, I am yours, and all that I possess.
All the fool mine?
I cannot give you less.
Which of the vizards was it that you wore?
Where? When? What vizard? Why demand you this?
There, then, that vizard, that superfluous case, that hid the worse and showed the better face.
We are descried that they'll mock us now downright.
Amazed, my lord? Why looks your highness sad?
Help hold his brows, he'll sound. Why look you pale? Seasick, I think, coming from Muscovy?
Thus pour the stars down plagues for perjury. Can any face of brass hold longer out? Here stand I, lady. Dart thy skill at me. Bruise me with scorn, confound me with a flout. Thrust thy sharp wit quite through my ignorance. Cut me to pieces with thy keen conceit. And I will wish thee never more to dance, nor never more in rushet habit wait. Oh, never will I trust to speeches penned, nor to the motion of a schoolboy's tongue, nor never come in vizard to my friend, nor woo in rhyme like a blind harper's song. Taffeta phrases, silken terms precise, thrice piled hyperboles, spruce affection, figures pedantical. These summer flies have blown me full of maggot ostentation. I do forswear them, and I here protest. Just a moment. I've lost my place on my screen.
Always when men speak of love.
That's not all he's lost.
Mm-hmm. The page number, if you please, my good hearts. 104. Bless thee, fair shrew. 104. Here we are. Bless thee one more time. I do forswear them. And why does this happen to me at this moment of most great courtesy?
Thou hast him tongue-tied, Rosaline.
Finally.
By this white glove, how white the hand, God know. Henceforth my wooing mind shall be expressed in russet yeas and honest kersey nose. And to begin, wench, so God help me law, my love to thee is sound, sans crack or flaw.
Sans, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I am sick. I'll leave it by degrees. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on us, on those three. They are infected, in their heart it lies. They have the plague and caught it of your eyes. these lords are visited. You are not free, for the Lord's tokens on you do I see.
No, they are free that gave these tokens to us.
Our states are forfeit. Seek not to undo us.
It is not so. For how can this be true, that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace, for I will not have to do with you.
Nor shall not, if I do as I intend.
Speak for yourselves, my wit is at an end.
Teach us, sweet madam, for our rude transgression, some fair excuse.
Fairest is confession. Were you not here, but even now disguised?
Madam, I was.
And were you well advised?
I was, fair madam.
When you then were here, what did you whisper in your lady's ear?
That more than all the world I did respect her.
When she shall challenge this, you will reject her.
Upon mine honor, no.
Peace, peace, forbear. Your oath once broke, you force not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
I will, and therefore keep it. Rosaline, what did the Russian whisper in your ear?
Madam, he swore that he did hold me dear as precious eyesight, and did value me above this world, adding thereto, moreover, that he would wed me or else die my lover.
God give thee joy of him. The noble lord most honorably doth uphold his word.
What mean you, madam? By my life, my troth, I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did, and to confirm it plain, you gave me this. But take it, sir, again.
My faith, and this the princess I did give. I knew her by this jewel on her sleeve.
Pardon me, sir, this jewel did she wear, and Lord Berowne, I thank him, is my dear. What, will you have me or your pearl again?
Neither of either. I remit both twain. I see the trick on't. Here was a consent, knowing aforehand of our merriment, to dash it like a Christmas comedy. Some carry tale, some please man, some slight zany, some mumble news, some trencher night, some dick that smiles his cheeks and yells and knows the trick. To make my lady laugh when she's disposed, told our intents before, which once disclosed, the ladies did change favors. And then we, following the signs, wooed but the signs of she. Now to our perjury, to add more terror, we are again forsworn in will and error. Much upon this 'tis. And might not you forestall our sport to make us thus untrue? Do not you know my lady's foot by the squire, and laugh upon the apple of her eye? And stand between her backser and the fire, holding a trencher, jesting merrily. You put our page out. Go, you are allowed. Die when you will. A smock shall be your shroud. You leer upon me, do you? There's an eye wounds like a leaden sword.
Full merrily hath this brave manager this career been run.
Lo, he is tilting straight. Peace I have done. Oh, welcome, pure wit. Thou part'st a fair fray.
Oh, Lord, sir, they would know whether the three worthies shall come in or no.
What are there but three?
No, sir, but it is very fine, for every one presents three.
And 3 times 3 is 9.
Not so, sir. Under correction, sir. I hope it is not so. You cannot beg us, sir. I assure you, sir, we know what we know. I hope 3 times thrice, sir.
Is not 9.
Under correction, sir. We know where until it doth amount.
By Jove, I always took 3 threes for 9.
Oh, Lord, sir, it were pity you should get your living by reckoning, sir.
How much is it?
Oh, look, sir, the parties themselves, the actors, sir, will show where until it doth amount. For my own part, I am, as they say, but to perfect one man in one poor man, Pompeian, the great, sir.
Art thou one of the worthies?
It please them to think me worthy of Pompey the Great. For mine own part, I know not the degree of the worthy, but I am to stand for him.
Go, bid them prepare.
We will turn it finally, sir. We will take some care.
Berowne, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord. and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the king's and his company.
I say they shall not come.
Nay, my good lord, let me o'errule you now. That sport best pleases, that doth least know how. Where zeal strives to content, and the contents die in the zeal of that which it presents, their form confounded makes most form in mirth, when great things laboring perish in their birth.
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy royal sweet breath as will utter a brace of words.
Doth this man serve God?
Why ask you?
He speaks not like a man of God's making.
That's all one, my fair sweet honey monarch. For I protest the schoolmaster is exceeding fantastical, too vain, too vain. But we will put it, as they say, to Fortuna Delega. I wish you the peace of mind, most royal compliments.
Here is like to be a good presence of worthies. He presents Hector of Troy, the swain Pompey the Great, and the parish curate Alexander, Armado's page Hercules, the pedant Judas Maccabeus, and if these four worthies in their first show thrive, these four will change habits and present the other five.
There's 5 in the first show.
You are deceived. 'Tis not so.
The pedant, the braggart, the hedge priest, the fool, and the boy. A bait throw at Noyam, and the whole world again cannot prick out 5 such. Take each one in Spain.
The ship is under sail, and here comes again.
I, Pompey, am.
You lie, you are not he.
I, Pompey, am.
With Liberd's head on knee.
Well said, old mucker. I must needs be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey surnamed the Big.
The Great.
It is great, sir. Pompey, surnamed the Great, that often field with targe and shield and make my foe to sweat. And traveling along this coast, I here am come by chance and lay my arms before the legs of this sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say, thanks, Pompey, I had done. If
Great,
your
thanks.
ladyship would say, thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Yeah, great
Great,
thanks.
great, thanks. Great, thanks. Yeah.
Tis not so much worth. I hope I was perfect, but I made a little fault in great.
My hat to a halfpenny, Pompey proves the best worthy.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. By east, west, north, and south, I spread my conquering might. My scutcheon plain declares that I am Alexander.
Your nose says no, you are not, for it stands to right.
Your nose smells no in this most tender smelling night.
The conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good Alexander.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander.
Most true, 'tis right, you were so, Alexander.
Pompey the Great.
Your servant and Costard.
Take away the conqueror, take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror. You will be scraped out of the painted cloth for this. Your lion that holds his poleaxe sitting on a close stool will be given to Ajax. He will be the 9th worthy. A conqueror and afraid to speak? Run away for shame, Alexander. Therein shall please you a foolish, mild man, an honest man. Look you and soon dashed. He is a marvelous good neighbor in sooth and a very good bowler. But for Alexander, alas, you see how 'tis a little o'er-parted. But there are worthies coming, will speak their mind in some other sort.
Stand aside, good Pompey.
Great Hercules is presented by this imp who club killed Cerberus, that three-headed Canis. And when he was a babe, a child.
When he was a babe, a child, a shrimp, thus did he strangle serpents in his manners quoniam. He seemeth in minority, ergo. I come with this apology. Keep some state in thy exit and vanish. Julius, I am.
A Judas?
Not Iscariot, sir. Judas, I am, ecleped Maccabeus.
Judas Maccabeus clipped is playing Judas.
A kissing traitor! How art thou proved a Judas?
Judas, I am.
The more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir?
To make Judas hang himself.
Begin, sir, you are my elder.
Well followed. Judas was hanged on an elder.
I will not be put out of countenance.
Because thou hast no face.
What is this?
A citron head.
The head of a bodkin.
A death's face in a ring.
The face of an old coin scarce seen.
The pommel of Caesar's falchion.
The carved bone face on a flask.
St. George's half-cheek in a brooch.
Aye, and in a brooch of lead.
Aye, and worn in the cap of a tooth drawer. And now forward, for we have put thee in countenance.
You have put me out of countenance.
False! We have given thee faces.
But you have outfaced them all.
And thou wert a lion, we would do so.
Therefore, as he is an ass, let him go. And so adieu, sweet Jude. Nay, why dost thou stay?
For the latter end of his name.
For the ass to the Jude, give it him. Jude ass away.
Oh, this is not generous, not gentle, not humble.
A light for Monsieur Judas. It grows darker. He may stumble.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how hath he been baited?
Oh, hide thy head, Achilles. Here comes Hector in arms.
Though my mocks come home by me, I will now be merry.
Hector was but a Trojan in respect of this.
But is this Hector?
I think Hector was not so clean-timbered.
His leg is too big for Hector. More calf, certain.
No, he is best endued in the small.
This cannot be Hector.
He's a god or a painter, for he makes faces.
The omnipotent Mars.
Omnipotent Mars of lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift.
Gilt nutmeg.
A lemon.
Stuck with cloves.
No, cloven.
The omnipotent Mars of lances the Almighty gave Hector a gift. The hair of Ilion, a man so breathed that certain he would fight, yea, from morn till night out of his pavilion. I am that flower.
That mint.
That columbine.
Sweet Lord Longaville, rein thy tongue.
I must rather give it rain, for it runs against Hector.
Aye, and Hector's a greyhound.
The sweet war man is dead, and rotten sweet chucks beat not the bones of the buried. But I will forward with my device. Sweet royalty, bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Speak, brave Hector, we are much delighted.
I do adore thy sweet grace's slipper.
Loves her by the foot.
He may not by the yard.
This Hector far surmounted Hannibal. The party is gone.
Fellow Hector, she is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, unless you play the honest Trojan, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Dost thou infamonize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped for Jaquenetta that is quick by him, and hanged for Pompey that is dead by him.
Most rare Pompey.
Renowned Pompey.
Greater than great, 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 great Pompey. Pompey the huge.
Hector trembles.
Pompey is moved. More at ease, more at ease. Stir them or stir them on.
Hector will challenge them.
Aye, if I have no more man's blood in his belly, then will sup a flea.
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole. Like a northern man, I'll slash. I'll do it by the sword. I pray you, let me borrow my arms again.
Room for the incensed worthies.
I'll do it in my shirt.
Most resolute Pompey.
Master, let me take you a buttonhole lower. Do you not see Pompey is uncasing for the combat? What mean you? You will lose your reputation.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me. I will not combat in my shirt. Dumane?
You may not deny it. Pompey hath made the challenge.
Sweet bloods, I both may and will.
What reason have you for it?
The naked truth of it is, I have no shirt. I go woolard for penance.
True, and it was enjoined him in Rome for want of linen. Since when?
I'll be sworn he were none but a dishcloth of Jaquenetta's, and that he wears next his heart for a favor.
God save you, madam.
Welcome, Richard, but thou interruptest our merriment.
I am sorry, madam, for the news I bring is heavy in my tongue. The king, your father.
Dead for my life.
Even so, my tale is told.
Worthies away. The scene begins to cloud.
For mine own part, I breathe free breath. I have seen the day of wrong through the little hole of discretion, and I will right myself like a soldier.
How fares your madam?
Boye, prepare. I will away tonight.
Madam, not so, I do beseech you.
Prepare, I say. I thank you, gracious lords, for all your favor endeavors and entreats. Out of a new sad soul that you vouchsafe in your rich wisdom to excuse or hide the liberal opposition of our spirits. If overboldly we have borne ourselves in the commerce of breath, your gentleness was guilty of it. Farewell, worthy lord. A heavy heart bears not a humble tongue. Excuse me so, coming so short of thanks, for my great suit so easily obtained.
Extreme parts of time, extremity forms, all causes to the purpose of his speed, and often at his very loose decides that which long process could not arbitrate. And though the morning brow of progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, the holy suit which fain it would conceive, yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow justle it from what it purposed, since the way to wail friends lost is not by much so wholesome profitable as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
I understand you not. My griefs are double.
Honest, plain words best pierce the ears of grief, and by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes have we neglected time, played foul play with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, fashioning our humors even to the opposed end of our intents. And what in us hath seemed ridiculous, as love is full of unbefitting strains, all wanton as a child, skipping in vain, formed by the eye, and therefore like the eye, full of straying shapes, of habits, and of forms, varying in subjects as the eye doth as the eye doth rule, to every varied object in his glance, which party-coated presence of loose love put on by us, if in your heavenly eyes have misbecomed our oaths and gravities, those heavenly eyes that looked into these faults suggested us to make. Therefore, ladies, our love being yours, the error that love makes is likewise yours. We to ourselves prove false by being once false, forever to be true to those that make us both. Fair ladies, you, and even that falsehood in itself a sin, thus purifies itself and turns to grace.
We have received your letters, full of love, your favors, the ambassadors of love, and in our maiden council rated them at courtship, pleasant jest, and courtesy, as bombast and as lining to the time. But more devout than these are our respects have we not been, and therefore met your loves in their own fashion like a merriment.
Our letters, madam, showed much more than jest.
So did our looks.
We did not coat them so.
Now, at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your loves.
A time methinks too short to make a world without end bargain in. No, no, my lord, your grace is perjured much, full of dear guiltiness, and therefore this. If for my love, as there is no such cause, you do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote from all the pleasures of the world. There stay until the 12 celestial signs have brought about their annual reckoning. If this austere, insociable life change not your offer made in heat of blood, if frosts and fasts, hard lodging and thin weeds nip not the gaudy blossoms of your love, but that it bear this trial and last love, then at the expiration of the year, come challenge me. Challenge me by these deserts and by this virgin palm, now kissing yours. Now kissing mine, I will be thine. Until that instant shut my woeful self up in a mourning house, to raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let our hands part, neither entitled in the other's heart.
If this, or more than this, I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest, that sudden hand of death close in mine eye, hence ever then my heart in thy breast.
And what to me, my love? And what to me?
Be purged too. Your sins are wrapped. You are attaint with faults and perjury. Therefore, if you my favor mean to get, a 12-month shall you spend, and never rest, but seek the weary beds of people sick.
But what to me, my love? But what to me?
A wife, a beard, fair health, and honesty with threefold love. I wish you all these three.
Oh, shall I say I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord. A 12-month and a day, I'll mark no words that smooth-faced wooers say. Come when the king doth to my lady come. Then if I have much love, I'll give you some.
I'll serve thee true and faithfully till then.
Yet swear not, yet least ye be forsworn again.
What says Maria?
At the 12-month's end, I'll change my black gown for a faithful friend.
I'll stay with patience, but the time is long.
The light clear you. Few taller are so young.
Studies, my lady? Mistress, look on me. Behold the window of my heart, mine eye. What humble suit, what humble style, but humble suit attends thy answer there. Impose some service on me for my love.
Oft have I heard of you, my lord Berowne, before I saw you, and the world's large tongue proclaims you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flouts, which you on all estates will execute that lie within the mercy of your wit. To weed this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me, if you please, without the which I am not to be won, you shall this 12-month term from day to day visit the speechless sick, and still converse with groaning wretches, and your task shall be, with all the fierce endeavor of your wit, to enforce the pained impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death? It cannot be. It is impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
Why, that's the way to choke a jibing spirit, whose influence is begot of that loose grace, which shallow laughing hearers give to fools. A jest's prosperity lies in the ear of him that hears it, never in the tongue of him that makes it. Then, if sickly ears, deft with the clamors of their own dear groans, will hear your idle scorns, continue then, and I will have you, and that fault withal. But if they will not, throw away that spirit, and I shall find you empty of that fault, right joyful of your reformation.
A 12-month? Well, fall what will befall. I'll digest a 12-month in a hospital.
Aye, sweet my lord, and so I take my leave.
No, madam, we will bring you on your way.
Our wooing doth not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill. These ladies' courtesy might well have made our sport a comedy.
Sir, it wants a 12-month and a day, and then 'twill end.
That's too long for a play.
Sweet Majesty, vouchsafe me.
Was not that Hector?
Of the worthy King of Troy.
I will kiss thy royal finger and take leave. I am a votary. I have vowed to Jaquenetta to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years. But most esteemed greatness, will you hear the dialogue that the 2 learned men have compiled in praise of the owl and the cuckoo? It should have followed in the end of our show.
Oh, call them forth quickly. We'll do so.
Hola, approach. This side is Hyam's winter, this there the spring. The one maintained by the owl, the other by the cuckoo. There begin.
Shall we do this?
All right.
If you're singing, you're a little too quiet.
When daisies pied and violets blew, and cuckoo buds of yellow hue, and ladies' smocks all silver white do paint the meadows with delight. The cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he, cuckoo, 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 a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When shepherds pipe on oaten straws, and merry larks are ploughmen's clocks, when turtles tread and rooks and daws, and maidens bleach their summer smocks, the cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he, cuckoo, 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 a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. Somebody else.
When icicles hang by the wall, and Dick the shepherd blows his nail, and Tom bears logs into the hall, and milk comes frozen home in pail. When blood is nipped and wigs be foul, and lightly sings the staring owl, to-it, to-woo, to-it, to-woo, a merry note, while When all loud the wind doth blow, and coughing drowns the parson's saw, and birds sing brooding in the snow, and Marian's nose looks red and raw, when toasted crabs is in the bowl, and night sings the staring owl. To-wit, to-woo, to-wit, to-woo, a merry note, while greasy John doth keel the pot.
The words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo. You that way, we this way.
Fini, well done.
Oh, you're in your car. That's so cool.
Hey, welcome back, Paul.
ISC is everywhere.
Right.
You're not driving, are you?
You're in your office. You're stuck in office.
You stuck in traffic?
No, I'm not driving. I'm parked.
You're on the Cross Bronx, aren't you?
No, I'm actually at Edison, New Jersey. I just had my first day of orientation for like a postal carrier job, so that's why I had to. I wasn't able to be here for most of it. And thank you so much, John, for hosting this, and everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Yes, this was wonderful. I'm so glad you were able to make it at the end, and you are a god among men for joining the Postal Service there, Paul.
I wish, please come to my neighborhood. My wonderful postman has disappeared. He moved away, and now we've got somebody who's absolutely dreadful.
On that note, we'll stop the recording.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Good job.
had that
Thank you.
problem as